Good morning, I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Saturday, May 25th. The body of a missing kayaker was found yesterday. Kentucky State Police say they found Paris Andy Smith's body around 11 Friday morning while searching the river behind Big Lots in Coal Run. Investigators say the retired Marine went missing Wednesday night while kayaking with a group of friends. This marks the third drowning here in eastern Kentucky we've reported on just this week. Crews from all across the mountains helped in the search. They used numerous methods to search, including boats and dogs.
Sometimes that's the way it is. It just, no matter what you do, you can't change the outcome sometimes.
This was a major effort by every organization here. They all went out above and beyond the call.
Family members told us Smith really enjoyed the outdoors, whether it be kayaking or simply fishing. Smith was just 47 years old. And another sad story out of Pike County. A sheriff's deputy died in an accident. County officials say 62-year-old Danny Taylor was injured while working on a job site at Little Robinson Creek. The Pike County coroner says Taylor was operating an excavator when a tree fell into the cab. Taylor was a Pike County Fiscal Court employee as well as a sheriff's deputy. Lucas and Son Funeral Home will be handling the arrangements. And now let's check in with meteorologist Kelly McShane for a look at your forecast this morning. Kelly, how does it look out there today?
Well, so far we are off to definitely a warm start. It has been hot, it has been humid. I sound like a broken record, but we're going to get you through this Memorial Day weekend. Let's start off with satellite and radar. Most of us here in eastern Kentucky are dry. We see a few pop-up showers into the central portion of the state, but those will fizzle out by the time they get to us. We'll just be seeing mostly sunny skies for this morning, but we're dealing with a little bit of that fog, especially into Harlan County, patchy dense fog in those valley regions throughout the entire region. London looking at 6 miles visibility, Williamsburg at 9. So just be a little bit careful as you head out on the roads because you could run into that patchy fog, but not too widespread out there. Jackson right now, beautiful sunrise over in Breathitt County, 69 degrees right now, plenty of sunshine to go around. Dew point still in the mid 60s, so feeling a little bit muggy this morning. Those winds are calm as we start the day. Your travel forecast, we're going to start off mostly sunny and definitely on a warm note. Your afternoon, we could see a few pop-up storms, but overall I think most of us will stay dry and see plenty of sunshine. And your Twitter topics for today, I will have your full weekend forecast. I know a lot of you have some outdoor plans. We are keeping the heat and humidity around, but what about those rain chances? Taylor, I'll have all of that in my full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Kelly. State police are now searching for a man suspected of killing his girlfriend in Whitley County this week. Vicki Connor was found dead inside a home on Wednesday night. Now investigators say they believe Nicholas Rucker shot and killed her. Olivia Russell tells us more about the investigation.
The Woodbine community in Whitley County is usually quiet, but neighbor T.K. Parks says that all changed Wednesday night when he heard a gunshot and Nicholas Rucker came out of the house.
And he's carrying a gun and he had blood all over him, like he was holding her.
Rucker's girlfriend Vicki Connor was found dead inside. The case was originally treated as a death investigation as police tried to figure out who pulled the trigger. Parks says Rucker claimed it was suicide.
Says, I can't believe it, Vicki shot herself. I can't believe that. I don't trust him.
Now, Kentucky State Police have named Rucker as the suspect in Connor's murder.
Police say they can't go into the evidence that points to Rucker, but the medical examiner has confirmed that Connor's death was a homicide.
There was enough evidence to believe that she was murdered.
They're now searching for Rucker, who was last seen by neighbors leaving the scene with a gun in his hand.
He run out of the trailer, and I didn't know which way he was going.
Investigators say people should be on high alert as Rucker is considered to be armed and dangerous.
You never know, what someone on the run may possibly be going through their head, what they're thinking.
In Whitley County,
I hope they catch Nick. I really do.
Olivia Russell, WKYT.
Police say they're not sure if the two had a history of domestic violence. Anyone with information is asked to call Kentucky State Police. And a Clay County man is accused of DUI on an ATV. Both vehicles involved in the late-night crash are pretty banged up. Deputies arrested Sonny Hubbard. They say he admitted to taking drugs on the day of the crash. He's facing several charges, including DUI and drug possession. The Kentucky Health Department wants to hear your thoughts about a controversial proposal banning artists from tattooing on scarred skin. There are a lot of questions surrounding this issue, like the definition of a scar and the motivation for the ban. Our Macy Marie caught up with a local tattoo artist and got his thoughts on the proposed regulations.
Whether it is your first time under the gun or your 20th.
It's a huge confidence booster.
Tattoo artist Draven Gayhart says putting a work of art on your body is about telling your own story.
Once you see how much this helps people, and once you see people able to move forward with their lives, there's no reason that you would ever deny that service to anyone.
And for people who have scars, Gayhart says tattoos are a way to cover up those imperfections or bad memories. Covering up scars is one of the services offered here at Lost Gypsy Tattoo.
It's something they're not proud of and they want to hide and disguise. That's why it's important to be able to continue to do these things.
But that service, tattooing over scars, is threatened by the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services, trying to update tattoo regulations.
I do agree wholeheartedly with updating of the regulations. It's been 15 years, it's long overdue, and I'm glad that they're taking the time to listen to suggestions from tattooers and from clients alike.
In a recent release, the Cabinet says concerns about the regulations are being heard and taken into consideration.
It gives closure to a lot of people that have scars, and a lot of times not from their choosing.
Hoping he can continue turning what might be self-harm or marks from surgery into something fun or meaningful.
A public hearing is scheduled for next Tuesday, May 28th in Frankfort. Public comments are being accepted through the end of the month. And Memorial Day weekend is here, and many people will be remembering those who lost their lives protecting our freedom. Breathitt County kicked off their annual Memorial Day ceremony early yesterday morning. The community gathered for a parade downtown to honor the veterans still with us today. They had a memorial ceremony with the keynote speaker, Democratic nominee for Secretary of State, Heather French Henry.
When you see people who come out for Memorial Day ceremonies, that we remind them that this is a day that we remember our fallen heroes. While we say thank you to those who are still here among us, it's a time for us to remember the sacrifice and service, no matter how long it's been.
Late last night, they had a candlelight roll call at Douthit Park to honor the fallen soldiers of Breathitt County. And on Monday, Camp Nelson National Cemetery will hold its annual Memorial Day program, and this year it will honor the men and women who served in World War II and one of its toughest battles. This December will mark the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge in the winter of 1944. This year's keynote speaker is a 96-year-old Central Kentuckian who remembers every second of that cold and deadly battle. Amber Philpott has the story.
All right. He might be a little slower in pace, but his workload certainly doesn't reflect it. Every day, just like clockwork, Captain Walter Cox shows up to the office.
I came out of retirement. I tried retirement and played golf every day, and I didn't like it, and so I decided to go back to work.
At 96 years young, he's the man to talk to about a trust or a will. An attorney for most of his career, he opened his own practice focusing on this line of work in 2004. He says it keeps him young.
Well, my advice to everybody is to keep working, and I think that's what's kept me alive. You got to exercise your brain as well as your body.
Cox is the keynote speaker this Memorial Day at Camp Nelson. If you ask him about the honor, his sense of humor is evident.
I think that I'm probably the oldest one they knew about that could still get up and stand up and speak.
It's been more than 7 decades since Cox was called into duty. A UK ROTC student, he got the call in April of 1943 to head to basic training. That next year, he was sent with the 70th Infantry, arriving in France ahead of one of the greatest battles of World War II.
We were en route in our 48s when the Battle of the Bulge started, and it started further north. So it was going on while we were en route up to Strasbourg.
He and his men arrived Christmas Day, 1944. He recalls what he told his men as if it were yesterday.
Oh, I believed that the Lord's going to take care of us. So I told my men, I had 40 men, I was a platoon leader, and on Christmas Day I took them all in church their little Catholic church in the town of Buchweiler, France. And I told them all that their job was to protect themselves as well as kill all the Germans.
Cox and his men fought in some of the most brutal conditions, the cold and snow, just another enemy in itself.
Shoes were the main things. Your feet would freeze if you didn't take off your shoes, change your socks. Your buddy, you always have a buddy with you, and he massages your feet, get the feeling back in them, put on the warm socks.
In January, Cox and his men succeeded in stopping the Germans and freed several prisoners. At 22 years old, he and his men earned a battalion citation from the president.
A lot of people died, and a lot of people, I was lucky. Like I write my book, no doubt I love my angel because I know I was protected by an angel.
Cox went on to attain the rank of captain, serve in the JAG Corps, and eventually return home to the Bluegrass to start a family and his career outside the military. He's written his life story down in this book, I Love My Angel, a way to preserve the memories of his 96 years. There aren't many left of his generation, so maybe it's why he's still hard at work, a way to honor those that didn't get the chance to be here with him, celebrating Memorial Day 75 years later.
It's a great honor. And given my age and given my health, the Lord has blessed me, and I thank Him for it.
Captain Cox says he spent 40 months in the U.S. Army. He says he doesn't know how he made it through, but believes that an angel saw him to the end. The ceremony at Camp Nelson starts at 11 on Monday, weather permitting. There will be a flyover of a restored Mitchell B-25 bomber. One of less than 10 are still flying. Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Navajo code talker and New Mexico state senator has died. And later in sports, longtime Perry Central and MC Napier girls basketball head coach Randy Napier has retired. More from him coming up.
Two things are for sure this weekend, heat and humidity. But what about those rain chances? I'll break down those in my full forecast coming up next.